Reprised weapons are nothing new in Destiny 2. This is when existing weapons are brought back with some new perks or are made craftable. Most of the time, returning weapons that are no longer obtainable just feels like what it sounds like. They're just the weapon they once were, like the Beloved for example. One of the most iconic perk on that weapon was Snapshot Quickdraw or Snapshot Moving Target. You can still get Snapshot Quickdraw and you can still get Snapshot Moving Target. However, there's one set of weapons that actually feels different whenever they got reprised. It's no longer the same weapon, but yet instead of making them worse, it's an upgrade over its former self. These weapons I'm talking about are the 𝚕𝚒𝚜𝚒 weapons. Now, the reason why reprising these weapons twice already feels justified is because it actually feels like every version that came out is an improvement over the one before. Let me explain. The first ever 𝚕𝚒𝚜𝚒 weapons are curated weapons, meaning they can only drop with one set of perks. Fast forward in Season of Arrivals where these weapons are reintroduced for the first time, now with random rolls. And finally, the one we got in Season of the Seraph allows these weapons to be craftable and have access to enhanced perks. As I said, it actually feels like every iteration of these weapons is an upgrade from its former self, even when they replace iconic perks such as Demolitionist on the second version of the SMG. Because now, you can instead have something like Volt Shot, which is also a really good PvE perk, but is not as universally available on an SMG such as Demolitionist, which is a pretty common perk at this point. They even added Rangefinder to make it more competitive in PvP, not to mention the insanely strong Origin trait. Compared to some other reprised weapons we have, such as Mindbenders, the Bite of the Fox, Wendigo, and many more, these weapons aren't being improved in a significant way like the 𝚕𝚒𝚜𝚒 weapons did, so it just feels somewhat empty and meaningless when they remove or replace the perks that made these weapons either unique or powerful in the first place. Mindbenders can no longer roll with Slide Shot or Quickdraw, not that these perks would make it better than something like a Found Verdict, it just makes Mindbenders feel like Mindbenders. Bite of the Fox loses Hipfire Grip, making it yet another sniper rifle with Snapshot Opening Shot, not that we have the 𝚕𝚒𝚜𝚒𝚗 already, and then we have the Wendigo, which no longer have blinding grenades and doesn't benefit as much of a damage buff from explosive light compared to its former self. So I don't see why they call them Mindbenders or Bite of the Fox or Wendigo when they're simply not. They're now just completely different weapons with the same look and name. Talking about names, the different version of the 𝚕𝚒𝚜𝚒 weapons don't actually have the same names. They have versions at the end of their names, and with each iteration of the weapons, the version increases by 1, which I thought was really cool and adds to the depth of the weapons. Now, I'm not saying that every reprised weapons should be like the 𝚕𝚒𝚜𝚒𝚒. Heck, most reprised weapons are just weapons that were never considered good in the first place, so it's fine to bring them back for a second chance. But if you decide to bring old meta-defining weapons such as the Mindbenders and the Wendigo, at least try to make them feel like what they were before. Just imagine if one day they decide to bring the Mountaintop back as an Adept Nightfall reward, just for it to no longer roll with the Micro Missile perk. At the end of the day, if you're going to take away an identity of a reprised weapon without making them noticeably better to fit the current sandbox, you might as well create an entirely new weapon, because at least with weapons such as Beloved and Heritage, these weapons were quote-unquote reprised with their iconic perk combination so that they can at least feel like they're Beloved and Heritage and not some other weapons that look or sound like Beloved or Heritage. Anyways, every time I make a video, I always take a look at my YouTube analytics, and there I can see how many people that watch my videos are actually subscribed or not. And still, more than 80% of my viewers in the past 28 days are not subscribed. So if you've been enjoying my content in the past few days, consider hitting that subscribe button for future content. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.